that's probably better. Is that better? Yeah. It's not that I don't want you to not hear me, it's the stream. We have to. So I want to point a couple of things out before we begin our service. First of all, I love your haircut, just saying. I don't mean to call you out, but I just did. We are going back to the future. Tonight is our maiden voyage of doing our Aliyah from this side of the podium. Now you might say, why are we doing the Aliyah from the right side of the podium and not the left? It's always been done on the left, Rabbi. Well, the truth is that before COVID, BC, we always did the Aliyah from the right, and then we moved around to the left. But then, during COVID, when we put that camera in, we wanted to get a really good shot of a person's face as they were saying the Aliyah. So we put them on the other side. But just this week, we put in that camera. And now we can get a really good shot of the person doing the Aliyah, and we can go back to what we've always done. So that's why tonight, when you see the Aliyah being done on the right-hand side, you'll say, wow, this is new. Or you might say, this is old, depending on how long you've been here at the congregation. So just thought I'd point that out to you. Shabbat Shalom. This is the third week in the Hebrew month of Iyar. And tonight, during our sermon time, I'm going to be teaching a little bit about something called Lag BaOmer and something that happened just this week about the second Passover. But I will tell you all of that later tonight. The most important thing is that we are in the middle of the Omer, so we will still be counting the Omer. But more important, we come now to Shabbat, our time of joy, of rest, and of peace. And so we begin our service with the singing of Hinei Ma Tov, which can be found in our Sidurim, in our prayer book, beginning on page 10.
Hinei Ma Tov u'Manayim Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manayim. 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 Shabbat achim gam yachad. It is my pleasure to invite up Jeff and Sharon Casper to kindle our Shabbat lights tonight. We are going to continue welcoming in Shabbat with the words of Lecha Dodi, which can be found on page 20 and 21. And for those of you who were here last week, Rabbi Hannah Bender, who is the first student from Etz Chaim to be ordained as a rabbi, taught that they are in a WhatsApp group where each week somebody asks, what do you think the Sabbath bride is wearing this week? And so I am imagining this week, because either we have students who just finished school or are in finals or about to finish school, that the Sabbath Bride this week is in all the clothes that you just want to relax in and be comfy in, because you've either just finished a year or you're about to finish a year. So we are going to continue with Lechado D. As a reminder, we sing verses 1 and 9, and we'll rise at verse 9 and face the entrance to welcome in Shabbat. Ya la 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 Lechado D. Ya la 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 Likrat Kala. Ya la 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 Pnei Shabbat. Pnei Shabbat Lekabela. Ya la 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 Lechado D. Ya la 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 Likrat Kala. Ya la 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 Pnei Shabbat. Pnei Shabbat Lekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad. Hishmianu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad. Ushmo echad. L'shem u'tiferet ve'litila. Ya la 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 Lechado D. Ya la 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 Likrat Kala. Ya la 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 Pnei Shabbat. Pnei Shabbat Lekabela. We rise and we face the entrance to welcome in Shabbat. Boi v'shalom ateret bala. Gam b'simcha uv'tohola. Toch emunei am segula. Boi chala. Boi chala. Ya la la. Ya la 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 Lechado D. Ya la 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 Likrat Kala. Ya la 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 Pnei Shabbat. Pnei Shabbat Lekabela. Ya la 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 Lechado D. Ya la 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 Likrat Kala. Ya la 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 Pnei Shabbat. Pnei Shabbat Lekabela. We are going to remain standing as we turn to page 28 for our call to worship, the Baruch Hu. Ya la 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 la. 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 Ya la 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 la.
Please be seated. It is my pleasure to invite the Bima at this time to lead us in Ma'ariv Aravim, which can be found in our Sidurim on page 20, Matthew Casper.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim bechokma potei she'arim uvitvuna meshana itim umahalif et hazmanim umsadir et hakohavim b'mizrotehem ba'kir kirsono borei yom v'layla Golel or mipne hoshe, behoshe mipne or, ma'avir yom umevi laila, ma'avdio ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzebaot shemo, el hai vekayam, tamitim lo aleinu le'olam va'ed, baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel, by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loved your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
We continue with Shema on pages 34 and 35. Will the congregation please rise? Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Please be seated. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha Vishinantam levanecha, vidibarta baham, bishivtecha bevetecha, uvlechtecha vaderech, uvshochbecha uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, vihayu letotafot bein einecha, Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha liman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kadoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Let's turn to page 39 and we'll read responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be at one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. We continue on page 40 with the singing of Mi Chamocha.
Let's continue reading together on page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we might lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukkot shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. We are going to continue now with our prayer that reminds us that is indeed Shabbat. And if you're saying, well, gee, it seems silly because we know it's Shabbat, we're here. That's the whole point. You know it's Shabbat, it's here. You are here. But not everybody remembers that, and so we have this prayer that reminds us to guard and to keep Shabbat, and that is what we will sing now on page 44. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. V'shamru Hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha'Shabbat
We come now to our congregational tefillah, which can be found in our Sidurim, in our prayer books, starting on page 46. Will the congregation please rise? Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu. Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei hakol, v'zocher chasdei avot v'imahot, u'mevi geula livnei v'neihem, lema'an shemo bi'ahava, melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah, Ata gibor leolam Adonai, Mechaye metim ata rav lehoshia, morid hatal, Mechalkel chaim bechesed, Mechaye metim berachamim rabim, Somech noflim virofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar michamocha ba'al gevurot umido mehelach melech memit umechaye umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman ata lahachayot metim. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hametim. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukdoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated. We continue on the top of page 55. Let's read responsively. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mikadesh HaShabbat. We continue on the top of page 58. Modim anachnu lach, she'atahu Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, leolam va'ed. Tzor chayinu magen yishenu atahu ledor v'ador, nodelecha unsaper tehilatecha, al chayinu misarim biadecha, V'al mishmotenu hakpudat lach, v'al nisecha shebechol yom imanu, v'al niflotecha v'tovotecha shebechol eit, erev avoker v'tzohoraim. Ha tov, ki lo chalu rachamecha, v'hamerachem, ki lo tamu chasadecha, ki me'olam, ki vinu lach, Ki me'olam, ki vinu lach. For all these things, O Sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God and Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, your God. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulacha na'eh, lehodot. We continue on the top of page 60 with the singing of Shalom Rav, followed by silent meditation.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam.
now to Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for the reading of the Torah, and you can follow along in your Sidurim, in your prayer book, starting on page 248. Will the congregation please rise? Please be seated. Well, our Torah portion this week, Behar, is the second to last Torah portion in the book of Leviticus. And were it not a pregnant year, were we in a normal year, that these Torah portions weren't spread out, we would have Behar Bechukotai, a double portion. But because we're in a Shana Merubelet, in a pregnant year, all of the Torah portions spread out, and so Behar is by itself. And Behar focuses on the commandments about the land of Israel, beginning with the commandment to observe the mitzvah of the Shemitah, leaving one's fields uncultivated every 7th year. And the farmer should not do any planting because we're supposed to let the land have rest, just like we rest every 7th day. So not only do we have Shabbat, but we're supposed to give the land Shabbat as well. Now you might say, well, why do we do that, Rabbi? And to that I'm going to say, well, come to Matthew's bar mitzvah tomorrow, you're going to find out. But really, this idea of letting the land lay fallow is built in every 7 years to teach us to ultimately trust that God is going to provide. And even when it looks like, oh, I better take the matter into my own hands, sometimes we just have to relax and remember that God has our back. You can follow along with our Torah reading this evening in the large maroon books, the Etz Chaim commentaries, which are found underneath the seat in front of you. But if you're in the front row, it's found underneath your seat or under your neighbor's seat. So if you don't have a book and you don't like your neighbor, wrestle that person and grab the book. And you can follow along on page 738. Ya'amod Shimon ben Hirsch Yehuda v'Yocheved likro haTorah Ta'amod Shoshana bat Eliezer v'Shlomit la'aliyah haTorah. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Vahed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach
Olam, Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim, V'natal Manu et Zorato, Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe behar Sinai lemor. Daber el bnei Yisrael ve'amarta alehem ki tavou el haaretz asher ani noten lachem v'shavta haaretz Shabbat l'Adonai. Shanim tizra sadecha, v'shanim tizmor karmecha, v'asavta et tevuata, uvashana hashvi'it. Shabbat Shabbaton yeh la'aretz, Shabbat la'Adonai. Sadcha lo tizra, V'charmcha lo tizmor.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher natal manu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. At this time in our worship service, our thoughts turn to those of our community and families who are ill and in need of healing. We think this evening of Rabbi Bruce Goldwasser, Rabbi Fred Wenger, Leonard Schultzman, Frederick Bryan, Scott Stewart, Sonia Maria Reimar Miller, Carol Pretnar, Paul Alterman, John Eulenberg, Simon Gannett, Philip Lovachev, Rachel Basio, Yitzchak Yisrael Ben Daniel Vasara, Jeff Liebold, Barbara Ben Ezra, Laura Flakus, Susan Donahue, and all who suffer whom we know not by name. Misha Berach, Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, V'Yaakov, Ve'imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, V'Leah, Hu Yevarech v'Rapeh et Kol Cholei Yisrael, Vayishlach Lahem, B'mehera, Refuah Shlema, Refuah Tanefesh, Refuah Taguf, and Omar. Amen. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal all who are stricken. May the Holy One of Praise mercifully restore them to health and to vigor. May God grant them health of body, health of spirit, and of mind. And let us say,
Amen. We continue now with the words of Misha Berach on page 253.
Ya'amod, Yoel ben Eliezer v'Shlomit, Hagba, Ta'amod, Esther bat Avraham v'Sara, Golelet. Will the congregation please rise?
mitzvot haTorah asher ksar Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai beyad Moshe.
Please be seated. Now remember, we just changed everything around, so it's going to take a couple of weeks to remember the new old system. Just saying. We continue in our Sidurim, in our prayer book, with the prayer for America, which can be found on page 258. It is my pleasure to invite forward at this time to lead us in both a prayer for America and prayer for Israel, Nancy Simone and Carolyn Marco. We continue on page 258.
Our God and God of our ancestors, we ask your blessing for the state of Israel and for the Israel inhabitants. Source of life, bless and strengthen those who defend the land and ensure their safe and speedy return home. Protect and guide them. Holy and blessed one, show Israel's leaders your path so they may act with wisdom, courage, dedication, and they may be unwavering in their pursuit of peace. Strengthen their hearts, but keep them from hardening. Freer of captives, return all those who are kidnapped, safe and sound, to their homes, without the spilling of more innocent blood, without any more being tarnished by horrific acts. Master of compassion, help us hold the humanity and the heartache of the Jewish people while also holding the humanity and the dignity of the Palestinian people. As we are made in your image, remind us of your ways. Spread over us your shelter of peace and fulfill the vision of your prophets. They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not take up sword against nation. They shall never again know war.
O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Our service continues on page 256 as we rise to return the Torah to the Ark.
Eitz chaim hi lamachazikim ba v'tom cheha meushar deracheha darchenom v'chol netivoteha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Chadesh yameinu kekedem.
Please be seated. So I had this great idea yesterday. I dropped my son off at the train station. It was early. I said, I'm going to go get an oil change. There's an oil change place right here, local. Just gonna get an oil change, so I go, first customer of the day, want an oil change, I'm sitting there, I'm waiting, they put my car on the bay, and they come back out and they say, "Ma'am, we have a problem." These are words you don't ever want a mechanic to say to you, you know. Basically, they showed me that the part that they were trying to pull out to be able to change the oil was damaged, and the part that I needed would not be able to be delivered for another day. And they said, this part's not going to be able to be here till tomorrow, and we're really sorry. This past week is something called Pesach Sheni, a second Passover. Now, what is this second Passover? Well, actually, it's found in the Torah. We'll read about it in Numbers. But God instituted something called the Pesach Sheni, the second Passover, for Israelites who, for whatever reason, could not bring their offering to the temple. For the Jews, back in the olden days when we still offered offerings in the temple, they couldn't bring their offering to the temple on the proper date. So they were allowed to make their offering 1 month later, on the 14th of ER, which happened to fall this year on Wednesday. Now, most folks don't even know that there's something called Pesach Sheni, or second Passover, because it's such a minor holiday, you won't even necessarily find it on Jewish calendars. But it really exists, and it's so much simpler than having to prepare a Passover Seder and kosher your house and get matzah and make sure that everything's kosher. And then you just, bring a little offering and eat the lamb with matzah and maror, and that's your second Passover. So the second Passover is a single-day holiday. There's no requirement to remove chametz from your house. And what we learn from Pesach Sheni is that even God lets you have do-overs, that you get a second chance, which is pretty cool, because if you were like on a long journey and you weren't able to celebrate Passover, you get a second chance a month later. Now, the Talmud understands that if you are on a long journey, it's more of a spiritual idea, which is this idea of if you couldn't celebrate Passover because you weren't in the right mindset, maybe you were spiritually distant from God or from even other Jewish people if you didn't have anywhere to go for Seder. So the second Passover gives you the opportunity to fulfill the mitzvah of Pesach without having to go through all of the prep. But it also gives us the idea that it's our job spiritually to strive to become closer to God. Now, how do we get closer to God? Well, we can do good deeds, like count the Omer, which we're going to do in a little bit. We can give tzedakah, we can give charity, we can be kind to others, we can engage in the study of Torah, we can be honest, but we can also be honest with ourselves. Trust our gut. How many of you would be offended if I called you a liar? Would you be offended? I'd be offended if somebody called me a liar. But I'm going to challenge you now and say, how often do you lie to yourself? Well, I ask that because I didn't want to give this Midas place a second chance to mess up my car. Because even though they had told me that the dealership where I had had the oil change last was the one who messed up my car, my intuition said, I don't think so. In fact, what they didn't realize was that I'm like BFF with my dealership because I happen to have performed the wedding of my technician because they are congregants of this congregation. So I have him on speed dial, and I called him up and I said, who was the technician that performed the oil change last on my car? And he told me the person, and I knew this person because I'm there, unfortunately, a lot, because this particular car has a tremendous amount of recalls on it, but that's a whole other story outside my sermon. And he said, I don't think that this long-term technician is the person who messed your car. But the truth is, I couldn't be sure who was telling the truth, so what did I do? Well, I told Midas, don't touch my car. I will have my car towed to the dealership, which I did. And then I had the dealership fix the problem. And it cost me a little bit more, but look, I have recourse with the dealership. I didn't with the Midas place. Pesach Sheni is about spirituality. Those of us who are spiritually distant from God and the Jewish people get a second chance. This second chance Passover teaches us that there's nothing that we have done in our lives that we cannot come back from. The Talmud cautions us, though, that we can't intentionally not celebrate Passover thinking that we're just going to make it up a month later. It's the same as you can't apologize on Yom Kippur for hitting someone knowing that you're going to do it again, like if you argue with your sibling and, smack them like my children do. Just saying. Those don't count as real apologies. So the good news is Pesach Sheni teaches us that there's always second chance. If you sincerely want to do something, you have another opportunity. But in the case of mechanics, not so much. But here's what's interesting. Are you ready for this? Check this one out. If the Midas guys had come to me and said, hey, we messed up and we're sorry and we can't get the part until tomorrow, but when we do, let us try again and we'll do it right, I might have trusted them more and I might have said yes. But because I intuitively believed that they were lying to me, I couldn't do it. So let us always remember that God never gives up on us and that we should never give up on our intuition because it always guides us correctly. My car is fixed, by the way. I know that you really want to know that part. Just want to make sure that we all understand. It's fixed correctly. No matter what we have done, no matter how many transgressions we feel we have caused or done, or whether we've royally messed up, God allows do-overs. But we have to be serious and humble and honest in our regret, and we have to strive to be better in the future. And then we can be assured that we are forgiven and we can be free. And we can be given another chance. Let us always remember that God gives us second chances. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Rick Schoenfield with some announcements on behalf of the board. Thank you first to our usher, Jen, and our security team. Mazel Tov, Matthew Casper and your family on becoming bar mitzvah. Join us tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. to celebrate Matthew being called to the Torah. Yashir Koash Simon Ellis on reading Torah. Please join us Tuesday, June 11th for Shavuot dinner in the lot. We'll chat and schmooze over a delicious dairy dinner, celebrate with a Kiddush Club service for our young families, enjoy a Shavuot-themed learning opportunity, and then conclude with a Shavuot service after dinner. For more information on upcoming events, please check out our weekly happenings email. Please join us after these services for a wonderful oneg sponsored by the Casper family in honor of Matthew. Shabbat Shalom.
And now we come to Sfirat HaOmer, the counting of the Omer. So we turn in our Sidurim to page 278, and let's go ahead and recite our blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, vitzivanu al Sfirat HaOmer. And so tonight is 32 days, 4 weeks, and 4 days. Hayom Yom Shneim V'Ushloshim Arba Shavuot V'Arba Yamim. Today is the 32nd day, which is 4 weeks and 4 days of the Omer. It is my pleasure at this time in our worship service, as we prepare to begin our concluding prayers, to invite to the bema to open our ark Samantha Casper and Josh Annenberg. And does Josh have a sibling that wants to come too? Yeah, let's have all the Annenberg kids. And Sammy, come on up. We need all of your koach. We need all of your might. We continue in our Sidurim on page 282. Will the congregation please rise?
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teit gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, Vanachnu korim umishachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu.
Please be seated. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. We continue on page 287. V'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. At this time in our worship service, our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth and whose yortzeit we commemorate this Shabbat. We recall with tremendous love Edward Stengel, father of Toby Weber, Emma Shapiro, mother of Sherry Balin, Myron Beiersdorf Jr., father of Bruce Beiersdorf, Harold Holt, father of Sharon Holt, Florence Buxbaum, mother of Eve Helfer, Geraldine Grossman, mother of Michelle Barrett, Hannah Triffler, mother of Mark Triffler, Marvin Krasno, brother of Eugene Krasno, Erwin Davis, uncle of Deb Bacall, Della Danziger, mother of Jim Danziger, Honora Benario, mother of Howard Benario, Catherine Markwell, mother of Kenneth Markwell, William Carr, uncle of Barb Carlson, Sarah Ravel, mother of Merle Ehrlich, Jeannie Ritzner, mother of Michelle Miller, Muriel Roddersman, mother of Tina Brackman, Opal Martin Gilbert, mother of Jennifer Gilbert Gazinski, Morris Bider, grandfather of Marla Aviva Bentley, Lily Udovic, friend of Dubravka Jiraga, Lori Bateman, sister of Bonnie Warner, Herbert Saywitz. We also mourn the recent passing of Ellis Goodman, friend of Susie Rothschild, Neil Keller, father of Jason Keller, grandfather of Cecily and Eden Keller, Dr. Richard M. Simon, uncle of Howard Bender, Paul Lederhausen, father of Mats Lederhausen, grandfather of Rebecca Cantor and Alexandra Lederhausen Nabavian, great-grandfather of Eleanor, Olivia, and Harrison Cantor, and Isabel Charlotte and Benjamin Nabavian, Jo Ellen Romano, sister of Michael Hoy, Jeffrey Paul Samuels, brother of Steve Samuels, and Jerry Daniel, father of Kara Kapp. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled, as together we will recite Kaddish Atom. If there are any other names to be added to our yortzeit this evening, please feel free to say them aloud as my eyes pass over the congregation. We continue with Kaddish Yatom on page 294. Will the congregation please rise? Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chaye chon uvyome chon, ufchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agalal uvizman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam ulmei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudasha barichu. Le'ela minkol birchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chaylim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Ve'imru amen. Ve'imru amen. Ve'imru amen. Ve'imru amen.
Please be seated. We are going to conclude with the words of Osei Shalom, which can be found the last 3 lines on page 294.
Let us always pray as if everything depended upon us. No, that's not right. As if everything depends upon God, but let us always act as if everything depends on us. And don't forget, we get a second chance. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is my pleasure to invite to the Bima to lead us in Kiddush and Motzi, the Casper family. We will do Kiddush and Motzi together, and then we will go and have a nice cookie in the social hall. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'rantzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'yahavahu v'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehila l'mikrae kodesh, zecher l'tziat mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta, v'yotanu kidashta, mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, b'yahava u'ratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, b'te'avon. Go ahead and take a piece. B'te'avon, everyone. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. The perk of being up here is that you all get the first bites of the
That's right.
today and tomorrow. That's right. I know, I love it. Amazing.
Why not? There, that's right. I love the middle. Wonderful tonight. Do you want some pie?
I'll take a little bit. I'll try to dig in more seed we already got.
All right, there you go. Perfect. Here you go,
I
sweetheart.
think so. Good job.
We gotta talk about your finger, buddy.
How's your finger doing? Ooh, it is.
Thank you, my
It's
darling.
clearly distracting, so we gotta patch up tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. This was great.
Well,